They thought I wouldn't notice. That's the funny part. Karen from the HOA, she rolled in produce trucks right into my orchard, didn't ask, didn't warn me, just acted like she owned the place. They crushed my trees, stole my fruit, and then told the whole neighborhood it was community land. But what nobody realized, I had deeds, cameras, and the law all lined up on my side. So when I locked the gates behind them and welded those suckers shut, panic set in. That's when the whole show started to unravel. What kicked off as just trespassing, well, it snowballed into a lawsuit, a courtroom twist, and the collapse of an entire HOA regime. And let me tell you this story. Yeah, it's about land, but it's really about standing your ground when folks try to trample right over it. It was the kind of morning that makes you grateful to be alive. Cool air rustling through the citrus, dew hanging on the grass, bird song threading through the quiet. That orchard wasn't just a piece of earth for me, it was legacy. 20 years back, my late wife and I bought it after I'd retired from the Army. She dreamed of a peaceful patch to grow oranges and lemons and apples somewhere we could grow old together, digging and tending. When cancer took her, that orchard became my cathedral. So the day I wandered down the path behind my barn and spotted 2 box trucks parked dead center in my Grove engines, idling tailgates, flopped open tire tracks, tearing across my root rows, I wasn't confused. I was ice-cold furious. For a moment I just froze, heart pounding against my ribs. The trucks were plain white, nothing fancy. But slapped on the side doors were magnetic signs, cheap vinyl letters reading HOA Community Market Initiative in partnership with our neighborhood growers. What a load of bull. I wasn't their partner. Never signed a thing, never even got a request or a heads up. This was private property, gated, posted, fenced on every side. The only way in was the south gate, and I knew exactly who had a master key, Karen Delaney, Queen Bee of the HOA. I stormed toward the first truck boots, crunching over crushed leaves, torn up earth. There was a sprinkler line busted right in half. 2 men stood by the open rear doors, one with gloves, the other already unloading crates. My oranges, my apples, my lemons. "Hey!" I barked. They spun like deer in headlights. The younger guy, couldn't have been more than 20, scanned me up and down like he expected a badge or a shotgun. The older one, sunburned, tried to play it cool. "You guys lost?" My voice was low, tight. The older man just gestured at the trees. "This is for the HOA market. We were told this was community farmland." "You were told wrong," I said, stepping closer. "This is my orchard, my land. You're trespassing." He blinked. "Karen said Karen doesn't own a single inch of this orchard." And then the second truck rolled forward, crunch its tire, flattened a fresh sapling I'd planted last season. I heard those young branches snap like knuckles. My fist clenched so hard my knuckles went white. "I want you off my land," I said. "And you tell whoever sent you next time it happens they'll be dealing with a lawsuit." The younger one whispered something. They jumped back into the cabs. No apology, spun mud all over my roots and vanished down the back road. I stood there a long time after the dust settled, just staring at the broken sapling, the ruts, the trail of leaves. Something inside me snapped. I knew Karen. She'd been angling for my land for years, complaints about my fencing, demands to share produce requests for me to donate space for HOA markets. I'd always said no. She'd give me that tight, poisonous smile and mutter, "Not very neighborly, are you?" Now I understood she was going to take what I wouldn't give. At the old cedar gate, my master lock hung open, swinging in the breeze. Only the HOA had the key, and Karen had made copies behind my back. I took photos of everything. Tire tracks, broken sapling, tampered lock, the whole mess. Then I sat at my kitchen table, pulled out the deed parcel, 1092C, sole owner, Michael J. Wheeler. Crystal clear. I made a decision right then. I wasn't going to fight with words or fruit baskets. This was war, quiet, legal, and devastating. Didn't take long to confront her. 2 days later, at the HOA board meeting, clubhouse reek of fake orchids, community harmony posters grinning down at us. Karen sat at the head of the table, pink blazer, pearls hair like a helmet. When I walked in, her eyes flashed pure alarm for half a heartbeat, then the syrupy smile snapped into place. "Well, Mr. Wheeler, what brings you to the board today?" she cooed. I didn't sit. I dropped a thick manila folder onto the table, made sure the whole room heard it thud. Inside, timestamp photos, trucks in my orchard, crushed saplings, torn up pipes, the unlatched gate. "You want to explain why your people drove 2 box trucks across my orchard without permission?" I said loud enough for every board member. Sam Whitley, the VP, almost dropped his pen. Dana, the treasurer, shifted in her seat. Karen just smiled. "I have no idea what you're talking about," she said, flipping through the photos like grocery ads. "Those trucks don't belong to the HOA. Anyone can buy a magnet sign, Mr. Wheeler. You ever get so mad your jaw aches?" That was me. You're going to sit there and pretend this wasn't you, that your people didn't use a copied key. Karen gave a soft theatrical laugh. "If someone trespassed, that's unfortunate. But the HOA has no record of authorizing market activity on your land." I turned to the rest. "This is private property. I have the deed. They treated it like a parking lot." Dead silence. Not one of them met my eyes. I made it clear. If any HOA vehicle or contractor sets foot on my land again, I will call the sheriff, file criminal trespass, and sue for every dollar the law allows. Karen's smile was all blade. "You're welcome to take whatever steps you feel necessary," she said, voice colder than a bank vault. "But let's not create unnecessary drama." Her favorite phrase. As I left, she called after me, "Oh, Mr. Wheeler, your south gate technically intersects an HOA easement. You may want to verify that before throwing accusations." She was laying the groundwork for some new scheme. I checked my survey gate, was on my land, no question. But I knew she was planting seeds for the next fight. Back home, I called John Teague, old Army buddy, now a property rights attorney who eats HOAs for breakfast. "Send me the photos and the deed." "I'm in," he said. I also ordered 8 motion-activated 4K trail cameras. That night, Scout, the world's best mutt, walked the perimeter with me. At the south gate, he growled. In the weeds, I found a fresh flyer. "Support local fresh fruit from right here in the community lot number 2. That plat map was 20 years out of date, and the HOA had given up all claim in 2008, but here they were trying to build a paper trail, rewriting history." Next day, a hand-delivered envelope, HOA seal. Inside, an old plat map, community zoning clarification. Letter from Karen claiming my orchard was shared, use agricultural space. No legal citation, just a demand with a smiley face. I laid her map beside my deed night and day. I sent the whole mess to John. His reply, "They're trying to set up adverse possession." Classic playbook. Don't let them establish use. I'll draft the cease and desist. Don't give them an inch. He was right. Next morning, I watched 2 HOA volunteers in matching polos walking my fence line, measuring, snapping photos. I let the new barn camera record every second. That afternoon, my inbox lit up orchard support shift sign-up. Help harvest for our neighbors in need. They weren't just claiming my land, they were recruiting help. I hit reply all. Any further unauthorized entry will be met with law enforcement. This is private property. All future communications go to my lawyer. I called the county recorder. After a lot of patience, I got what I needed. "Mr. Wheeler, you are the sole owner. The HOA relinquished claim in 2008. 0 easement, 0 shared use." I printed, laminated, and posted it right on the gate. Sunrise, the next morning, a produce truck crept down my service road. 3 men set up a makeshift market under my trees. I called the sheriff. When deputies showed, the workers just stared at me, an old guy in flannel holding his deed like a shield. The deputy looked over my folder, told the workers, "Pack it up. You're leaving." One muttered. Karen said, "Karen's not the county recorder," the deputy cut in. But the trucks kept coming every morning. New drivers, new lies, more damage. They got bolder, ripped out. Sprinkler heads snapped, whole lemon branches toppled my beehives. Every time I called the sheriff, they'd be gone before help arrived. It was death by 1,000 cuts, HOA style. I barely slept. Scout paced all night, ears twitching. The worst part wasn't the physical damage, it was the silence. The board didn't call, didn't email, didn't even ask what was going on. The neighborhood swallowed Karen's version, painted me as a cranky old hoarder blocking community good. Friday, I found my barn spray-painted "Hoarder of the Harvest" 3-foot red letters. It was psychological warfare turned the crowd against me. 2 could play that game. That night, I stapled blown-up copies of my deed, the HOA relinquishment, and photos of the damage right over their graffiti. This land is privately owned. Trespassers will be prosecuted. Want fruit, plant your own damn trees. Saturday, I woke early, new chain, new lock welder warmed up. I felt the storm coming. Sure enough, 2 trucks rolled in deeper than ever before. I let them get good and comfortable, then I closed the gate, looped the chain, padlocked, and welded that sucker tight. The gate was now a cage. I strolled back. "Hey, old man, what the hell are you doing?" one shouted. "You're trespassing. It's all on camera." They bolted for the gate. "No luck. I'm calling Karen," one yelled. "Perfect," I said, already dialing the sheriff. Within minutes, deputies and Karen's BMW arrived. Karen, pink blazer rattling, shrieked, "This is false imprisonment." "No, Karen," I said, calm as you please. "I welded trespassers inside my property after they ignored every warning." Deputy looked over my documents, turned to the workers. "You're free to walk out. Trucks stay." Karen lost it. "You can't confiscate HOA property." Deputy deadpanned. "There's no HOA property here." A crowd filmed the whole thing. Karen hissed, "This isn't over, Wheeler." I smiled. "Yes, Karen, it is." Deputies escorted the workers out. The trucks sat trapped like monuments to overreach. Thought that'd end it. Nope. Next morning, Karen brought the sheriff to my front door, accused me of false imprisonment and property damage. I stepped out in slippers, Scout by my side, and handed the deputy my folder. Deed, cease and desist, incident report, even 4K video of the trespass. The deputy's eyebrows rose with each page. Karen sputtered, "He can't just deputy shut her down. This isn't your property. County records confirm sole ownership." She tried another tactic, accused me of damaging HOA assets. I showed the rental agreements. Turns out those trucks were under Delaney Consulting, LLC, not HOA. Deputy handed my folder back. No laws were broken. Complaint is unfounded. By Monday, the HOA posted a notice: community market program suspended until further notice. No apology, just a digital slammed door. But neighbors started to come around. Mrs. Alvarez with a peach pie in tears, Greg the Marine with a 6-pack, Dana the treasurer with a thumb drive full of incriminating emails, proof of threats, lies, embezzlement. That night, for the first time in weeks, there was real quiet in my orchard. But I knew Karen was only cornered, not finished. So I called John Teague time to go on the offensive. He grinned like a wolf, went to work. We filed suit, repeated trespass, property, destruction, violation of court orders, infliction of emotional distress. We asked for everything: damages, attorney's fees, permanent injunction. Karen was served at the next board meeting in front of the whole room. Word spread. Neighbors started talking, sharing their own stories of Karen's rain garden fines, flagpole threats, the whole 9 yards. At the next general meeting, Karen tried one last rally PowerPoint speech about community good. I walked straight down the aisle, dropped packets of her own emails, her promises to vendors, her threats, her slush fund on the podium. Dana and Sam stood up and backed me. Then the floodgates opened, neighbors rose, told their stories. John Teague stepped up. "My client is suing you personally, Ms. Delaney, for trespass, fraud, and defamation. Discovery will be unpleasant. Or you can resign right now." Sam called the vote. Unanimous. Karen out. The clubhouse erupted. Weeks later, court day. Karen looking like she was watching her own funeral. The judge all business. Your client entered private property after multiple warnings and a court order. How is this a misunderstanding? The HOA's lawyer stammered. The judge shut him down, turned to me. Mr. Wheeler? I stood, heart pounding. This isn't about money, Your Honor. My wife and I built that orchard. I just wanted to be left alone. The judge judgment for the plaintiff in full. Permanent injunction. Apology required. John squeezed my shoulder. I'd won. Letter arrived days later from the new HOA president, check enclosed, full apology. New rules in place. I left the check on the table for weeks, sometimes used it as a coaster. Eventually, I bought new beehives, a granite bench under Evelyn's favorite lemon tree. Neighbors became friends. The south gate stayed welded shut for a month, then I cut it myself because I finally could. The orchard healed new saplings, stronger pipes, bees came back lemons, heavy as ever. But some mornings I still woke up early listening for trucks that never came. Time heals mostly. One Saturday I was out pruning when Sam Whitley showed up, hat in hand. Mike, I sat in those meetings, kept my mouth shut. I was a coward. What you did I won't forget. We shook hands. Others came too. Dana with bourbon, Mrs. Velasquez with roses, Greg with a flag. The HOA changed. Rules rewritten. Dues dropped. Even Karen, in her perfect cursive, slipped a letter under my door. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I never replied. Some things don't need words. Summer rolled in. Orchard hit peak harvest. I did what I swore I never would. I opened the south gate. Not because I had to, but because I could. Hand-painted sign, free fruit. Pick what you need. Leave the ladder. Scout is friendly, but will judge you if you waste. The place filled up with neighbors, laughter, old war stories, kids running wild. John Teague stopped by, beer in hand. You didn't just save your orchard, Mike. You reminded people what freedom feels like. Some nights I sit out, bourbon in hand, talking to Evelyn under her lemon tree. The orchard kept its promise. It stayed ours. But it learned how to share without surrendering. And these days the boundary isn't steel or law or even memory. It's respect. It's laughter. It's fruit picked and given freely, kids sticky with juice running wild between the rows. Everybody knowing in their bones exactly whose orchard this is and exactly who it belongs to now. All of us. So tell me, what do you think? Where's the line between standing your ground and sharing what you've built? Ever had to fight for what's right in your own backyard? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you've ever tangled with a Karen or an HOA, let's hear those stories too. Hit like, share your story. And don't forget, sometimes the sweetest fruit is the kind you have to fight for.